Salute, 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 everybody. Welcome to Miss Parker, Miss Parker. I hope everybody's having a blessed Monday thus far. I see the ice is melting out there. I'm ready to go out. I got a date. Okay. So I'm ready to go out. I got dressed. And I was like, I'm not going to be here too long. So I'm not going to be here too long, y'all. Just long enough to put this story out because Miss Callie sent it to me and I just couldn't believe for the life of me what I was reading. I was like, what is this? What? And instantly I stopped reading it. I didn't even get through the whole story of Tynisha because I just couldn't, for the life of me. Whatever, it just. But I feel like her name should be remembered and her story should be shared to show us the evilness through the industry. How easy it is to be in a relationship and your significant other doesn't feel the same way. We see that a lot with going on now with the Tyrone Davis Jr. case and Lulu. You just never really know somebody in a relationship. Let me say that. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, research, and educational purposes. Thank you, guys. Hey, Barbie. Hey, TT. Hey, Latasha. Hey, girls. Hey, Miss Jazzy. Hey, Samad, sis. Hey, Regina. Hey, Diamond. Hey, sis. She said, OMG, I remember this case. Yeah, it's pretty gruesome. It's pretty gruesome, you guys. My glasses are fogging up for whatever reason. Hey, Alma, what's going on, sister? And y'all, just for the record, I speak to my people. I like to speak to people that come in. You don't have to like me, but please hit that like button. You don't have to like me, but just hit that like button. It gets the story, keeps the story going in the algorithm. All stories, okay? Hey, Lady Mysterious, what's going on? I had a comment and she said she had to leave because it was, hey, Betty, hey, woo, hey, woo, and it's like, so when you come in my chat, you don't want me to speak to you. You just want me to jump right in and stuff like that. That's how you welcome people in your house. I just don't open the door and let people in and don't say, hey, how you doing? You speak to people. But I speak to my people over here, okay? Hey, Angel. Hey, Mona Lisa. It was just weird. It was just strange, you know. But I hope you guys are having a blessed Monday. Again, this is the story of Tynisha Ysais. So I titled it "A Boyfriend, a Best Friend in the Dark Industry."
Mother named Carolyn thinks about what happened to her daughter.
And I feel everyone should know what happened to her because it was a brutal murder. He chewed a part of her intestine.
All I can remember, the world was going to end, and I had to find the devil before the world ended. That's the last thought that I had.
Do you know that you were actually chewing on her flesh, allegedly, when the cops came?
No, I didn't know.
He said, "Did you know that you was chewing on her flesh when the cops came?" He said, "No, I did not." Hey, Tammy C. Hey, Angel. Hey, T Monique. Hey, LaDana. Hey, y'all. Hey. He said, "No, I didn't know that I was chewing on her." Let me read you guys this. And prayers to her children because she did have kids. Prayers to them. Prayers to her family. Hold on, guys. Okay. Well, I'm hot. The ice is melted, y'all. I'm right outside. Oh, I'm right to get to it. Is the title of this was "He Ate Her," not metaphorically, not figuratively. Sorry, y'all, I can't get these words right, and not literally. I mean, she said literally. On April 10th, 2002, 21 22-year-old Tynisha Ysais was murdered inside her Los Angeles apartment by the man she lived with. Now, I want you guys to know that Big Lurch was a roommate. Alicia Allen rushed over to her friend Tynisha Ysais' house after hearing she may have been assaulted earlier in the day. As she approached the complex, she noticed a man walking around completely naked, covered in blood. Thankfully, she was able to flag down a passing police officer to alert him to the strange man. Officers approached the man, who clearly had meat stuck in his facial hair, and arrested him without incident. Meanwhile, Alicia continued toward her friend's apartment. When she walked in, she found her friend dead on her bedroom floor. She had been completely brutalized. One of her lungs and a part of her stomach were pulled out of her body and piled on top of her. It looked as though her murder had taken bites out of her body parts. He was dying on her flesh. He was dining on her flesh. Hey Teron, how you doing? Outside, the killer wasn't hiding. He was standing in the street, naked, covered in blood, staring at the sky, while Tanisha lay dead in the house. When the police caught him, doctors confirmed the unthinkable. Tanisha's flesh was found in his stomach. Say that again and sit with it. This wasn't rage. This wasn't self defense. This was dehumanization at its most horrifying level. They tried to blame drugs. They tried to claim insanity. The court said no. He was sentenced in life in prison without parole. Tanisha was 21 years old, someone's daughter. She had 2 kids, someone who trusted the people she lived with, someone who should be alive. So this is the story of once was a rapper, Big Lurch. Allegedly, the industry, his management, allegedly had got him hooked on PCP. They said the day that this happened, that and he did chew on her intestines. You're gonna hear that in here. He did eat on her intestines. He ate some of her lungs. He ate a bit of everything of her body. And I want you guys to hear this story of Tynisha Ysais. I'm my guess.
The radio call came out, a tall woman dressed in a red dress walking in traffic. The radio car arrived, and he was naked, covered in blood. He had her heart under his arm.
On April 10th, 2002, a woman made a chilling 900.
He had her heart on his arm, you guys. Her heart was on his arm. I mean, just when you already think you're in a world full of evil, this right here, it took it to a whole nother level for me. It took everything else that I've covered to a whole different kind of level. One of an unthinkable. One of this. I kept telling Callie, this ain't real. This is fake. And I got the researching it, got the team on it to research it with me, look up stuff, and I still, in my mind, I don't understand this for the life of me. I don't understand this right here. I don't. I don't think I'll ever understand this story.
And 11 call after seeing a naked man covered in blood wandering the street, mumbling and chewing while staring up at the sky.
Showing her
Police
body,
assured her
guys.
officers were on the way, but urged her to keep her distance. Understandably freaked out, she hung up and rushed to her friend's apartment, only to be met with a horrific scene. Her 21-year-old friend, Tynisha Ysais, was lying in a pool of blood, her body brutally mutilated with bite marks all over her face and chest. Even more disturbing, her chest was ripped open, exposing her organs.
But a mother named Carolyn thinks about what happened to her daughter.
And I feel everyone should know what happened to her because it was a brutal murder. He chewed a part of her intestine.
The naked man's identity was initially a mystery because when questioned, he only responded,
How do you chew somebody's lungs and part of their intestines, and how long I don't even got the words for it, y'all. Hey, Lola. Hey, Peaches. I seen you guys. The brutality of it all for Tynisha is unbearable. It's no words can express right now how I'm feeling about this. Hey, 80s blessed baby. But it's the oof, oof. Eating her intestines. I mean, to gut somebody. Did Jeffrey Dahmer even get this gruesome though, Regina? Like, how gruesome? To where you're running and you're still chewing on parts of her body. He's running, you guys, in the middle of the street. Big Lurch is running and still eating Tynisha. And when they do their exam on him, he still has pieces of her body in his body. Yeah, this is a hard one. Yeah, Time Warp, for sure. Nah, he cooked them. For the friend that found her, this has got to be still the hardest thing she probably ever had to encounter in her life. And we always hear stuff about the dark industry. And I guess because we're not a part of it, we don't believe it. It's almost like they always try to throw things in there like these are conspiracy theories when in fact they're not. But these things go along with the industry. It is passion, very horrible and horrific. These things go with it.
With growls and animalistic noises, but once they processed him, the police were stunned to discover that he was none other than Antron Singleton, aka Big Lurch, a rising star in the hip-hop world. Big Lurch was making waves in the rap scene, collaborating with big names like Mystical, Mac Dre, and E40.
Yeah.
So how did a promising rapper end up accused of such a gruesome crime? To understand...
Switch to TurboTax. File free in the...
Understand what happened that night, we have to rewind. Antron Singleton, better known by his stage name Big Lurch, was born on September 15, 1976. Even as a kid, he showed a creative spark, writing poetry at the age of 7 and later developing a love for rap. By the time he was 15, he was performing at local events under the name G-Spade before eventually rebranding himself as Big Lurch. His stage name was inspired by the character Lurch from the Addams Family, a nod to his towering 6'6" frame. Lurch's rap career really started to pick up steam in the late 90s. After gaining some local buzz in Texas, he decided to take a leap and move to the Bay Area, San Francisco, to further his career.
I was an underground Dallas rapper before I ever came to California, got me game in the Bay Area.
His father lived there, and the Bay had a vibrant music scene that offered more opportunities. Shortly after arriving, Lurch connected with key figures in the West Coast rap community, including rapper Ma Mal, who was tight with Tupac and Mac Dre, and was also cousins with E40, Be Legit, and Sway Calloway. Through these connections, Lurch was introduced to producer Mike Mosley, who had worked with some heavy hitters like Tupac, E40, Richie Rich, and more. This move turned out to be a smart career choice. Soon, Lurch was featured on E40's 1996 album The Hall of Game on the track Record Haters, and also made an appearance on the song How We Comin' by RBL and Mystical.
We get split quick, but I'm with this. You don't understand. This ain't Joe. Right, a rich man.
Around this time, he linked up with Brick Rock and Doy Baby, and the trio decided to form a group called Cosmic Slop Shop. The group signed a deal with MCA Records and dropped their debut album, The Family, in 1998. Although the album got positive reviews, it didn't perform as well commercially as they had hoped, which ultimately led to the group disbanding before they could record a second album. Despite the group's breakup, Big Lurch's talent didn't go unnoticed. He had a deep, distinct voice that set him apart, and his collaborations with big names in the industry kept him relevant. His career was still full of potential, but even with the rising popularity, he was struggling financially. In 1999, Big Lurch was featured on Mac's track Fire, adding another highlight to his music career.
In the life of a G, we be trifling and we like in the scene, insane life.
Though there had been some bumps along the way, his trajectory in the rap game seemed promising. But as the 2000s rolled in, two major tragedies would rock his personal life, setting him down a darker path. The first tragedy struck when his grandmother passed away, a loss that deeply affected him. Then, just one day after his 24th birthday, on September 16, 2000, another life-altering event occurred. He was driving when a drunk driver crashed into his car, breaking his neck and leaving him in a coma. The accident nearly offed him, and when he finally came out of the coma, he was left with severe chronic pain and difficulty walking. While in the hospital, doctors kept him heavily medicated to manage the pain.
And I don't think sometimes we don't realize just how much the pain medicines can take effect of you. Hey Rhapsody, what's going on? Yeah, how do you tell the parent or spouse this is what happened to their loved one? Right, Latasha, that's crazy. The rugs out here now are not the same as they once was back in the days. I bet I think that's when the addiction kicked in, because that's a horrible car wreck. You know what I'm saying? He was in he was in something that was supposed to take his life. He was in a coma, all these broken bones and stuff like that. So we can only imagine the pain that he was in from that wreck. And narcotics like that, that's why I don't like medicine. I don't like medicine because it's easily to get addicted. And the thing about drugs is that you want something more. That high eventually doesn't get you high the first time. So you want something bigger. You want something better than the crack and the meth. You want to go to shrooms. You got to go to something else. And hey, Vibrant, what's going on? So it's showing that Big Lurch, everything that Big Lurch went through in the dark industry that he was a part of.
But once he was released, he was still far from fully recovered.
And right after me and Mac Dre did that fire,
Right, Tom.
Leo, and my grandmother died. I had a car wreck. I broke my neck.
Struggling to deal with the lingering pain and physical limitations, Big Lurch made a fateful decision. He turned to PCP, also known as angel dust, in a desperate attempt to self-medicate. What started as a way to manage pain quickly spiraled into a dangerous addiction. PCP, originally developed as an anesthetic, was notorious for its intense side effects, which included severe hallucinations, numbness, and distorted sensory perceptions. People high on the drug have been known to do violent and horrifying things, both to themselves and others.
I've heard stories about people on PCP and angel dust, but those are just like, back then, during this time, those drugs were still common. As I was in drug court, the Lord Jesus, some drugs, and I didn't learn this until I went to rehab and stuff. People that was on meth, PCP, and stuff, some of them have to be given, most of them, all of them, have to be given the drug in rehab, and we didn't understand that because we're asking questions like, isn't this a place to get clean? But they can't just take them off of it. They have to wean the dosages down until there's none, because it will unalive them quicker than anything else. And we didn't understand that until then. So you learn a lot in rehab about these different drugs, and PCP and angel dust is way different from way off the Richter scale of crack cocaine and a powdered substance, or smoking it, even meth. Because really, meth is one of those drugs where you wouldn't believe what's in it. When you take it, it's like Ajax and all of these poisonous chemicals. So you can only imagine why you know what I'm saying? We put Ajax in the tub, and we know what it does to a tub when you scrub it clean. You get what I'm saying? Have a tub looking brand new. So imagine putting that inside your body. Imagine somebody sniffing some Ajax. It's just like that. So, it's just a lot of chemicals that's just not good for you, and we can only imagine what they do to the brain. Nobody thinks of what these drugs do to the brain. Hey, Miss Kim, happy Monday. So facts. So they give them like methadone, very harsh drugs. So yeah, he's on something powerful that's off the Richter scale of having any. They didn't see us for sure. They nobody else met on those kind of drugs. It's third world, and it's what they see it to be, meaning the hallucinations and stuff like that. That's different. It's way different.
In later interviews, like the one he did with Vlad TV, Big Lurch claimed that he had never tried PCP before the night of the MDR. However, in the 2011 documentary Rhyme and Punishment, he admitted that he had begun using the drug to ease his chronic pain after the car accident. Whatever the truth, the drug would soon become a central part of the horrific events that would unfold in 2002. After the crash, despite his struggles, Big Lurch was still a talented artist, and record labels started reaching out to help him bounce back. He ended up signing with Black Market Records, BMR, owned by Milton Grimes, who was not only a well-known lawyer but also had deep ties to the music industry.
Few labels took it upon themselves to act as if they was gonna help me. You know, you down and out, you broke your neck, we want to nurse you back to health and help you do an album.
Even though things seemed to be looking up with the new deal, tensions soon began to rise. Big Lurch didn't feel comfortable with the atmosphere at BMR's studio, and part of the reason was that many of the label's members were affiliated with the Crips, while Lurch himself was a Blood. This created friction, and eventually he decided to move back to Texas to get away from the tension.
I started working on the album, all of a sudden they turn into all their gangbang colors come out. You know, they crippin' and all this in the studio. Well, hold on, dog. Y'all know who I was when you met. You said this was gonna be professional. And now all of a sudden I'm in the studio uncomfortable because all your Crip homeboys is up in here. Now
So when the studio, when that record label signed him and said, "Hey, we want to get you clean, and we want to," did they send him to rehab? Because we don't have nothing saying. Because Time Warp can say, "Hey, Miss Parker, I want to get you clean." That's Time Warp. Do she got the means, the resources, and stuff to get me clean? You know what I'm saying? Or did they see an opportunity of a lifetime? Because once you sign on that dotted line in the industry, we've seen it. We've seen it with BG Duck's mother. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get his royalties back, trying to get things back from the company. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. Man woke up in the hospital talking about, "You ate flesh. I would have had a heart attack." Yes. Thank you, Peaches, by the way. I don't know if you heard me. Hey, Vamika. So it's a lot to this. Thank you, Time Warp. Thank you, sis. So it's a lot to kind of look into. You know, you got to think about what was they gaining. They're gaining. He's forever indebted. In the industry, you are forever indebted once you sign on that dotted line, and sometimes it could be sacrifices. We've heard about this. Time after time have we heard about sacrifices. He's saying to them, "Y'all said this was gonna, come on, y'all. We ganging, we gang banging," and they know this in the industry. They know what you repping. They know who you are. And you over on this side, they gang banging. Here come some people from the opposition. He a Blood, here come a whole room full of Crips. You are set up once you sign on that dotted line. It's no longer just about the sound of your voice. You owe them for life. And you're signing in blood. Because I don't see how these people helped him or was willing to help him if they didn't put him in rehab and make sure he was 100% clean. Because I would want my artists 100% together. Coming from PCP, that's why they want them types for the insurance. Absolutely. Absolutely, Time Warp.
all of a sudden y'all want to play night and all this.
Despite his connections in the industry, Lurch was still struggling financially. He wanted to finish his album, But
My
without the
bad,
funds,
TT.
he resorted to selling drugs to make ends meet. It wasn't long before he was caught and sent to jail on drug charges. Fortunately for him, Milton Grimes, despite their differences, stepped in and offered to help him with his case. Grimes' support led to Lurch being released on bail, and in return, Lurch promised to finish the album for Black Market Records. Around this time, Big Lurch's music took a much darker turn. The deaths of Tupac and Biggie had shifted the landscape of gangster rap, and Lurch began diving into a subgenre called horrorcore, a style known for its graphic and often violent lyrics. Horrorcore rappers like Eminem, the Ghetto Boys, and Insane Clown Posse often rapped about gruesome topics, serial KERs, and horror movie villains. Lurch followed suit, frequently referencing notorious figures like Jeffrey Dahmer and villains like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees in his songs. His music began to reflect more.
Also, because on down the line, I read that the mother felt like the boyfriend was coaxing him to say these things. But I'm glad Saj said, on my soul, you signing a setup. Yes, for sure. My cousin, the same age as me, rap with Gorilla Zoe, and they had her on powder bed. Like I said, we've heard these stories. We just don't believe them, or we just feel like we ain't in the industry, so we go on with our life. Hey, me plans. What's going on, Bookie? So with this one, y'all heard they say he turned dark. So I hope one day the mother can go back and listen to this, because the mother feels like that the boyfriend, because they said eventually Big Lurch was saying to the police, I was talking to God and God said this. So she thinks it's the boyfriend of Tynisha saying, hey, eat her body, do this to her, do this to her, do this to her. And so now that I'm hearing that he got into that gothic, talking about Jeffrey Dahmer and all of that, he was already setting up the stage for his life right there. Once you go that dark route, you know what I'm saying? That's just like David with Celeste T. Seeing a casket on the stage, y'all. Seeing caskets, and you got people writing letters, and your lyrics is going along with some stuff that happened to Celeste T is just wicked to me. I can't listen to it. Because, like I always said, we bring the devil into our home by what we watch and what we listen to. You can bring those demonic entities into your life. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Praising these kind of things and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Praising these kind of things. And, oh, y'all, sorry. This weed is itchy. But praising these kind of entities, you're bringing them into your real life. You're bringing that demonic entity into your life, and I think that's what he done.
More disturbing themes, as he seemed to be grappling with his personal demons through his art. After beating his drug case, Lurch returned to LA, but the tension with Black Market Records hadn't disappeared. Instead of staying at the label, he began associating more with local LA gang members, many of whom were heavy users of PCP. His involvement with this crowd only deepened his addiction, and he moved into a drug house with a roommate named Thomas SM, a known gang member. Thomas was also dating Tynisha Ysais, the woman who would tragically become the victim in the horrific Emder that would later make headlines. In 2002, while Big Lurch was working on his album in LA, he found himself at a party in his apartment with a few friends. Things took a dark turn that night when Big Lurch and his crew started taking PCP. The most common method at the time involved dipping cigarettes in a liquid form of the drug, and according to Lurch, they kept feeding it to him, to the point where it felt unusual. The next thing he knew, he woke up in jail with an Emder charge hanging over him, completely unaware of how he'd ended up there. It wasn't until two weeks later that he began to comprehend the gravity of the situation. He had no memory in that night.
Like 2 weeks when I woke up, when I came to, because you'd be stuck. You could be walking around but not know what's going on. Well, when I came to, out of being stuck, I had been in LA County for 2 weeks. I had been arraigned and everything.
His last conscious thought before the horrifying incident was a hallucination.
He said he had been arraigned and everything. He'd been in for 2 weeks before he even realized what was really going on. That's why I said that's a whole different Angel Dust, PCP. Those are whole meth. Those are on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. Hey, busy baby. Getting around the wrong crowd will cost a person every trip. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't know he was around people. He didn't know nothing.
In which he believed the world was ending and he needed to find and off the devil. As the story goes,
Yes,
after
Jazz.
smoking the PCP that night, Lurch became increasingly unstable. High on the drug, he kicked everyone out of the apartment except for his roommate's girlfriend, Tynisha Ysais. What followed was beyond horrifying. He reportedly came up behind Tynisha and struck her in the back of the head with a child's scooter, knocking her to the ground. Then, in a violent frenzy, he got on top of her and stabbed her multiple times in the chest with a knife. It didn't stop there. Lurch then ripped her chest open, exposing her internal organs, and pulled out her lung, biting into it. Teeth marks were later found on both her face and lungs. After the gruesome emder, Lurch fled outside, naked and covered in blood. A neighbor and friend of Tynisha's, Alyssa Allen, saw him through the window
Peace.
and immediately called the police, alarmed by the bizarre and terrifying sight. When the officers arrived, they found Lurch in the middle of the street, completely naked, barking like a dog, and yanking out his own hair. His body was smeared with blood and he was clearly not in his right mind. Following his arrest, medical tests revealed human flesh in his stomach, confirming that he had consumed parts of Tynisha's body. However, Lurch himself remained in a state of confusion for a full 2 weeks, completely unaware of his surroundings. When his trial began, the evidence against him was overwhelming. Not only did they have the crime scene and his erratic behavior, but the prosecution also used his music as a key part of their case. They got early access to his album It's All Bad, which included a track called I Did It to You. The lyrics were disturbingly similar to the crime he had committed. In the song, he rapped about K-ing for fun, using torture chambers, and waking up in a puddle of blood.
With a hobby, I'm using a torture chamber and not a Ruger. So if you wake up in a puddle of blood, nigga.
Another verse detailed flashbacks of being called the devil's son.
See what I'm saying? It be them entities, y'all. It really, I know Rhapsody, right? BZ said, I know all about this story. Rhapsody said, OMG, girl, yes. Letting that dark side in, I just really feel like in the industry, especially around that time, I still think it happens today, but I'm going to say this, at that time, he was coming into the game. I really think it was a lot of blood oaths going on. You signed on that dotted line in blood, not by ink. His nightmare started when he entered the industry and followed him. It said the industry never have to pay, but gain from a person's downward spirals from their lyrics. Yeah, because with them contracts comes insurance. If anything happens to you, that's guaranteed paid for them. They're automatically paid, dead or alive. If you die, they're still going to make money off of you in the industry. If y'all have a son or a daughter that's trying to make it big in the industry, you have to have these kind of conversations. It has to be someone with them. Reading this to them, reading the dotted, don't sign on that. Let's look into this. Let's let a lawyer look into this. Not just signing because it sounds good, seeing numbers and stuff, because it's more work on the artist's end, because I don't think they're just sitting back and just collecting people to come and make them money. They don't mind the rappers getting on the mics, talking about, I shoot your mama, shoot your kids, because they know what comes with that, retaliation. Oh, that boy that you just rapped about just might see you. They just might see you outside. Thank you, Rhapsody. Bren said exactly. But whether you make it or not, I don't care. I got $1 million insurance policy on you when you sign at the dotted line. We got a $500,000 policy. Because they still have to get paid off of you. They own you. They own you. You no longer own yourself. Somebody owns you. That's why so many artists stay independent. Exactly. It makes sense when Cat Williams be saying about the industry, the gatekeepers comes with a price. Exactly, Lady Mysterious. Everybody just in the audience just laughing at Cat Williams when he was telling the truth the whole time. It was comedy for us, but he was really up there telling us a story. And when he got to telling us those stories that you said, Lady Mysterious, didn't they blackball him? When he talked about walking in that party and seeing all that inappropriate Diddy shit going on, he said, no, couldn't believe that. Damn, this shit really go on. This shit really is it's going down. If that ain't some scary shit. Because now that you've seen it, what happens? Everything that Cat Williams worked hard for, they blackballed him. Because he was speaking out. Telling things. The industry doesn't care if you go dark. They know soon your demise is coming. That same homeboy you just did, he might see you in the streets. He might come look for you. But hey, we're paid. We're paid. She said came with a price sooner or later. Yes. It's a sad.
Referencing violent urges and his baptism. The prosecution argued that these lyrics were not just fictional, but reflected Lurch's real-life obsession with M and violence, which had culminated in the horrific M of Tynisha Ysais. For the jury, it wasn't difficult to connect the dots. The violent themes in his music, combined with the brutal evidence, painted a picture of someone who had been fascinated by dark, twisted acts long before the crime took place. It took the jury less than an hour to deliberate, and on November 7, 2003, they found him guilty of first-degree M, torture and aggravated mayhem. Big Lurch was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But even with the conviction, many still question whether this is truly what happened on that fateful night. According to Tynisha Ysais' mother, Carolyn Stinson, the whole situation is even more complicated than it seems.
And then, y'all ever, and I'm being honest, hey Erica, LaDana said they just use people, let's go. Rhapsody said facts. Y'all ever heard some music and it just don't make sense? And you just say to yourself, damn, I can sing better than that. Some people are pawns in this dark web, which is the industry. You are signing your life over on that dotted line that night. Once you sign that contract, you belong to them. Go on out there. Write all these diss tracks. Go on out there, sing them devil lyrics about Jeffrey Dahmer and how you want to eat. Because eventually that shit gonna sink in her. She said, yep, all the time. Yeah, that shit gonna be in her. Go with the music. Think about when we hear music. Remember on They Clone Tyrone? Because when you play at love music, what we want to do? We want to go home and probably make love. You probably want to make love. But when you hear that fuck them other niggas cause I'm down for money, fuck that bitch. You throwing up your middle finger, y'all want to fight that bitch. Think about that bitch that had something to say about you. You rah-rah. Imagine talking about eating people and doing all these disgusting, horrific things. And you putting that in, you singing it and it's going in here. Because you got to remember your lyrics. You got to, Exactly. It's like going for a job and you know that you don't have the qualifications for the job, but they give you the job because they have plans on throwing you under the bus. Come on. Come on. Exactly. Anything to fuck up in that company, they gonna put it on the person that they ain't got no experience. It is sad, Tracy. But it's what we put in our head. It's what we listen to. A lot of times when we hear about Jeffrey Dahmer, what did he listen to? What did he watch? The most horrific shit. So it matters. But the mother felt different. Let's listen to her. She didn't feel like that was it.
She doesn't believe that Big Lurch was the one who actually offed her daughter. In fact, she's convinced that it was Tynisha's boyfriend at the time who was responsible for the brutal
As far as her boyfriend, he was a gang member. I believe he the one set all this up. He was beating on her. She had all her stuff packed, ready to leave.
Stinson believes her daughter was offed by.
Hold on, BZ. Come up for a second. If you can, BZ, come up here for a second. And I reached out to her. I think that's her in Long Beach. And stuff. I did reach out to Miss Curlin and stuff to let her know I would be covering Tynisha's case. Matter of fact, hold on. I think her sister reached out to me. Did I look at it? No. Now that I'm just thinking about BZ saying that about the mother, give me 1 second. Cause I hit her up as well to let her know that I would be covering her sister's story. I didn't want any disrespect, me, for them to feel like I was disrespecting, but this story just stuck with me when Miss Callie's Kitchen sent it to me. I think she reached out, I thought. Okay, I'm gonna have her on the show. I'm gonna here goes Beezy. Hey Beezy.
Hey.
What's going on? I just actually checked the sister's message and she said she would come over and talk to me. So I'm gonna set up another one, BZ. What did when you got to the story, how'd you get to the story and what made you reach out to Miss Curlin?
First, because I was doing a little content here and there, and I like to talk to at least somebody in the family that knew facts and stuff, so I wouldn't just be putting out stuff I heard. I had got the case offline, the paper, when he went through his case and stuff offline. I sent it to you, and the way this man told the story ain't the way the story was told on in the courts. But the man that he was doing his music for or whatever, he wanted him to do his finish up that one album or whatever. He was selling drugs for him. He was hurrying up doing the album because he said he wanted to do another one, sign with somebody else. So anyway, he was selling PCP or whatever they call it for that man fixing up his dogs or whatever. He ended up being his lawyer in court, and I guess he came in there and just said, "I'm your lawyer." So, but he didn't care to fight back. So it was a lot of stuff missing, like that they didn't tell. The Miss Carolyn don't tell you. It's a lot of stuff missing that the police didn't tell, like the shoes that was in the bag, because they were saying it was a party. I saw the man that was in the wheelchair that was there, the boyfriend, because they all on Facebook. I saw all them, and the boyfriend went to the mall with somebody else, and the girl stayed there or whatever. And the mama think that when they got upstairs, when the girl went upstairs or whatever, that's when the boyfriend came because they were so high on PCP. But the amount that she had in her, somebody had to pour it in her.
Also, Tanisha had some in her too.
In her system, yeah, and the amount she couldn't have smoked all that. So somebody poured that in her. And he was already high. He was already high. So
Yeah, I heard that. I just reached out to the sister and she said she would love to come and talk to me. BZ, can you send me everything that you have and stuff like that? Because I heard that Miss Curlin felt like the boyfriend had something to do with it and stuff. Did she tell you the same thing, BZ,
yeah,
allegedly?
and, yeah, she don't believe that Lurch had anything to do with it. As far as him having her blood on him and him eating like some of her organs, when they went upstairs or whatever, the boyfriend in the papers, the boyfriend like kind of told us to come up there, and he out of his mind, so he don't know what's going on, and so he think that she think that the boyfriend killed her, and then made him eat. You know what I'm saying? Like guided him to do everything, cause she just don't believe that that Lurch did it, and then she was gonna leave him. I send you the boyfriend pictures and everything.
Yes, please.
I send
Please.
you everything I got.
Okay. And busy, when the sister comes, I would love to have you here too. If she
Okay.
comes, I'll let you know what day, I'll kick it with you on the stoop or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, all the information so you can come back over here with me as well.
Okay.
Thank you,
I sure
Beezy.
do it.
Thank you for the enlightenment. It's a lot. I could tell it was a lot more to this story because it didn't seem like it was that simple to, you know what I'm saying, just wrap it up in
Yeah.
a sum of seconds and stuff like that. So, Beezy, thank you for the enlightenment. I appreciate it.
You welcome. You want me to send it to your email or Instagram?
Matter of fact, send me a request. Send me a friend request in the Discord.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, or I can give you China. We can connect through China, whatever. I give you, tell China to see you my number. Tell China to see you my number, Beezy.
Okay, I will.
Okay, love you, sis.
Love you.
Hey Crystal, thank you for coming through. I appreciate BZ for giving me that insight. I did just connect back to the sister. I want to see if she could come. I only think it's right for the family members to speak out on situations like this. I also had reached out yesterday, just off subject, but I reached out to Tyrone Davis's auntie, Miss Natasha, because I think when I was reaching out to her, it was a very vulnerable time. Even though me and her had chit chatted for a few seconds and stuff like that, we didn't get into anything, but still, and I just felt bad. I was like, "Hey, Miss Natasha, I apologize for reaching out during a vulnerable time like that," and she was like, "Thank you so much, thank you for saying that," and stuff like that. Because I just think, I just didn't time it. My timing was off and stuff like that. But with this one, I knew it was something bigger and something more to this story. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Then meets the eye. And I appreciate BZ for coming up here giving me that little bit of insight. So when BZ sends me that information, I do want to continue this with what happened to Tynisha, everything that is going on with Tynisha. And I hate this so much. But one thing I could say is, when my son was talking about rapping, y'all, I was supportive, but I wasn't. I wasn't. Cause mentally, I feel like if you can't really almost deal with the real world, you can't deal with that world. You get what I'm saying? And you have to really be spiritually strong. Can you do y'all even think you can be spiritually strong going into that kind of industry, dealing with that? Because like BZ said, he ended up being a lawyer. How was he the lawyer? Like, you know what I'm saying? A jack of all trades, BZ. That's what he was. He was a jack of all trades. But yeah, I wasn't supportive. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I just didn't like that. And I just think about the mental on the surface. And if you can't deal with mental on the surface, you can't be a part of the industry. I'm not gonna support it because I know that they could have had my son doing just about anything. You get what I'm saying? And all it takes, y'all, is one time. It took me one time to hit a line of cocaine and I was hooked for over 20 years. So, it doesn't, drugs
Him,
don't got,
and
I,
after
they just
Singleton, who
got
was high on PCP,
feelings
found her lung on the floor,
and
he began to eat it, thinking it was just a piece of meat. Stinson even visited Big Lurch in jail to tell him that she knew he was innocent and to forgive him for the tragedy that unfolded.
I never forget, what happened to her. But yeah, I forgave him. PCP, and he tripped. He saw that piece of lung lying on the floor, and he, probably figured it was a piece of meat or whatever. Took it and started chewing on it. But far as him, no, I don't believe that.
It's no surprise that Singleton echoes these claims, insisting that he was set up. According to him, he was purposely drugged so others could take advantage of him. This is where things start getting eerie and even more unsettling.
Do y'all believe that? Do y'all believe that he's saying, "Hey, I was set up"? It is Veronica. It's a lie. You know what I'm saying? BZ said, right? Anytime. Thank you, BZ. He's saying he feel like he was set up to be taken advantage of. And a lot of times we hear that. They are taken advantage of and they're being labeled that they're crazy and have mental health issues and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And no, that's just not it. They make those drugs ready available to them. The same way we watched Whitney Houston go from have one of the most beautifulest voices in the world. It's even hard for somebody to sing one of Whitney's songs. But who knew behind all that beauty was a lot of darkness? Remember, she went and gave Brandy them that letter right before they found her in that tub. That everybody still to this day is trying to figure out what happened. The industry. Yeah, I believe it because he doesn't even know what happened or how he got there. I wouldn't put nothing past it.
When the police conducted a medical examination of Tynisha's body, they found PCP in her system. The strange part, her mother said Tynisha didn't use drugs, and even if she had, the amount of PCP found in her bloodstream was so high that it would have been lethal. It just wasn't possible for her and Singleton to have smoked that much PCP on their own. Singleton claimed that someone had poured the drug down both his and Tynisha's throats without their knowledge, and that they hadn't willingly ingested it.
Somebody pulled it down, the bottle was pulled down her throat because she had so much in her system. They said ain't no way she could have smoked that much.
The story takes another bizarre twist when it comes to the evidence. The Emder weapon was a child's scooter, and there was a bloody handprint on it that didn't match Singleton's prints. Not only that, but there were also bloody fingerprints and footprints found at the scene that didn't belong to either Singleton or Tynisha.
Now that's strange. That is strange. Whose prints were there? Whose prints? Hey Shay C, happy Monday. Whose prints was on that scooter? And who walked through that blood? Cause you can't even swallow PCP like that. Not how they and I don't even know the dosage that was found in her, but the other couple months I was watching a story about a woman put her baby in the microwave, and the other one was crazier because she put her baby in the oven. And this is turning wicked. Yeah, that's different. Oh, that's something evil.
This raised serious questions about what really happened that night, but it was all overlooked during the trial. There was also no mention of Singleton's pit bull, which was present during the crime. The bite marks found on Tynisha's body were never tested to see if they matched Singleton's teeth, all because of his attorney's strategy. His attorney, Milton Grimes, pushed for an insanity defense, advising Singleton to admit to the Emder and claim temporary insanity in hopes of getting a lighter sentence.
The dog in that house. Now, Milton Grimes never brought up the dog or nothing in the case. He told me we need to make this look as worse as we can.
Grimes, a well-respected lawyer at the time, told Singleton that if he took this route, he would only spend a few years in jail and be released soon after. But this defense was flawed from the start. In California,
you can look at him. Virgo said, I was just watching this a couple of days ago. Sad story. It really is, Virgo. You can look at him and I could just feel the energy. His energy's off. The man right there in the picture that he signed with the record label. And then he's the lawyer. Beezy, is that who the lawyer is too? Him? Hey, Tanika, that's the crazy part. Is he the attorney? I'd like to know that. Now that makes me think and say, did Big Lurch really do this? You noticed a lot of these unsolved cases that they can't detect the cause, or it is a heart attack, drugs, or mental illness, wicked, and the forces at work. Yes. Now, Busy, see, you can tell something ain't right with him. I could tell when they said that Big Lurch signed with him. And he said, go ahead, you're just going to do a few years on it and you'll be out. For that? Hey, beloved. Hey, how you doing? Happy Monday. You told this man he was going to do what? A few years? Not for that. Not for chewing on somebody's intestines and lungs. I really want to know his position. He didn't care at all. Now I want to look into him, Beezy. Because something about him just don't sit right with me. He didn't care at all. Because Because either way it goes, they're paid, you guys. They're paid. How do you go from management to attorney? How did you jump on board so quick? Is it because he was contracted to you? You wanted money like BZ said he didn't care at all? She said retention. Mm, mm, mm.
California, you can't claim insanity if you willingly took a substance that led to the crime unless there's a pre-existing mental illness. Despite this, Grimes moved forward with the insanity plea, never mentioning that Singleton had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder years earlier, which could have helped his defense. Singleton, for his part, wasn't even aware of what was happening during the trial. From the moment he was jailed, he'd been put on Haldol, a powerful antipsychotic drug commonly used to...
Now that matters, because if he's dealing with all of this, he's bipolar, schizophrenic, or whatever, anything. Hey, lady, how you doing? Happy Monday. He's any of this, y'all. On PCP. On PCP, say. Because that matters when you're dealing with mental illness, schizophrenia, anything. Any medicine matters. It can trigger things different. It can alter things different. That's crazy work. Why didn't the attorney for him say that he had these mental issues? Didn't I say it was something about him? Yeah, we gonna plead insanity. But with saying nothing. Y'all get what I'm saying? How do you plead insanity for him when you're saying backing it up with nothing? Because it's accident too. Y'all know a lot of stuff can trigger things. Being in accidents, not being able to move, not being able to function in other ways, sexually, all kind of ways. Walking, hearing voices, the attorney and the boyfriend probably set it up.
Restrained people experiencing acute psychosis, often caused by drugs like PCP. As a result, Singleton was unable to speak up for himself or even fully understand what was happening. He wasn't able to defend himself in any meaningful way.
So when I'm in court, I don't know what's going on. You got me in mental health. I'm on Haldol. And then you tell me not to take the stand, and then a total twist.
Grimes' mishandling of the case didn't stop there. Years later, it came to light that Grimes was ordered to pay $1.2 million to the family of a man fatally shot by Gardena police. The court found that Grimes had failed to properly handle the family's civil wrongful death case. Some believe that Grimes intentionally botched Singleton's case to gain favor elsewhere.
Did what I say? What? When I say I don't trust, man, you can look at him then and see something ain't right. Something just ain't right in my Keith Sweat voice. I knew he shouldn't have been questioned under the... Absolutely, Samad. That was number one. That was number one fuck up for them. You get what I'm saying? I said they pre-planned, I think, and used mental illness and drugs to make it seem like it had something to... Yeah, Shacey, absolutely. Hey, Stephanie, absolutely. That's the interview I remember. Absolutely. Hey, honey, 5K, what's going on, sisters? Happy Monday. Absolutely, Shacey, y'all.
Which only adds to the strange and questionable nature of the entire trial. As if all that wasn't bad enough, the record label Singleton was signed to wasted no time profiting off the situation. Right after his conviction, they released his debut album, It's All Bad, without his permission.
What I say? What did I say, y'all? They gonna make their money. He's contracted to them for how long? How long, y'all? How long? And they released it without his permission. They're making money off him while he's doing life. While he's doing life for something that he probably didn't even do. or he was coerced under the influence to do? Why he not in a mental hospital and still in jail 24 years later? Let's go, Regina. Good question. I know Galatians. I don't know what be up with you two. Man, it's right here. Hit different.
Complete with a photoshopped image of Singleton holding a skull on a platter. They also produced a documentary titled Drugs Made Me Do It, using his story.
Come on, y'all. Listen to drugs made me do it with a head, a skull on a platter. With a skull on a platter, y'all. The drugs made me do it. How disrespectful is that to the family? Ain't that crazy? Ain't that strange? Title it Drugs Made Me Do It. This is insane.
As a way to generate publicity. This wasn't the first time the label exploited Emder for profit. They had previously done the same with rapper X-Rated, releasing his music while he awaited trial for a Emder charge, which he was later convicted of. This trial, with its twists and turns, remains one of the most bizarre and controversial in hip-hop history. From the gruesome Emder to the questionable handling of the evidence and the strange court proceedings, the whole case leaves behind more questions than answers. And while Antron Singleton sits in prison, the truth about what happened that night may never be fully known. One thing we should never forget, though, is the real victim in this story, Tynisha Ysais. Her life was tragically cut short in a brutal and unimaginable way, and she was laid to rest after suffering a horrific fate. At the end of the day, it's her life that was lost and her memory that should be honored. Rest in peace, Tynisha Ysais. Was justice really served? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
I'm going to look into that other case of the other rapper and see his situation, because the way they just described it in this video, it sounds like that management team held a lot of darkness behind it. That's why I call it the dark industry. I never call it anything less. It's the dark industry. Ever since, like I said, like Lady Mysterious said, I always listen to Cat Williams. I don't want to go to none of them parties or nothing. I don't care if somebody invite me. Miss Parker, we would like to invite. It's almost like you would never come out the same. You would never be the same once you come out of them parties. They are sent to do these things and have people to back them up when they go to jail, get caught. It's supposed to be just that way, in plain sight, but no answers. I agree. Shacy, I agree. It's so sad for the victims and him as well. Yes. Crazy work. Yes. So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for the super stickers, the super chats, the grabbing the memberships, to Miss Callie that grabbed the membership. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Beloved, you're fine. You're fine. You guys enjoy the rest of y'all Monday. I will see you back at 8 o'clock tonight. I want to talk about Naziah Harris again and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Good old Monster and Monkey. Okay, I just want to kind of touch on some things just a little bit. I ain't gonna keep y'all here too long tonight either, but we're gonna come back for a part 2 with this, because I do want to hear from her sister. I appreciate her sister for reaching back out to me. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you for connecting those dots for me to realize, you know what I'm saying? I agree with Maisha. Having a team is everything, you know what I'm saying? Because I was looking hard. I was looking hard and stuff, but she did reach back out to me. I'm trying to see what day works for her to come back so we can really get to it. I'm waiting for Beezy's results too. Love you, Beezy. Love you, Bookie. Wait for Beezy to send me her stuff, and that way when I do have the sister here, I can ask her some questions and stuff. So shout out to you, Beezy. Thank you so much for pulling up and adding clarity to this story of Tynisha. I knew it was deeper than what I read, based off of some things that just didn't make sense to me and stuff. You gave me clarity. Hey, Pretty Trucker, drop your link, Pretty Trucker, while I'm here real quick. Keep doing what you do. Support our content creators. Great live always. Thank you. This story really hurts my heart. Yeah, it's extended. It's extended. For the mother, you know, a mother knows. I don't know about y'all, but a mother knows when something ain't right. A mother knows when something just don't that don't sound right. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's what happened. and stuff like that. Can one of y'all drop Pretty Trucker's link for me? Maybe Pretty Trucker don't. I don't know. Do you know how to drop your link, Pretty Trucker? But if not, go ahead and somebody drop her link for me, if y'all don't mind. But I knew it was more. And then when he even had a feeling about the people that he signed with, he was like, they know I'm a blood and they said it was going to be peaceful. They did that on purpose, Beezy. They brought those people in there on purpose. I do believe. And it's Pretty Trucker One on Twitch. Okay, make sure y'all follow Pretty Trucker One on Twitch as well. Get her some followers over there, some more followers over there on Twitch. Help a sister out. But I do, BZ. I believe that this was done purposely. I agree with you, Shacy, 100% that this was already planned and stuff. I think they already have people that they set out to do, you know what I'm saying, whatever they do too, and have them where they need to have them. Y'all heard it was another situation with another rapper that went to jail and they had his music doing the same thing. But to put drugs made me do it. It's crazy. That's crazy to me. Drugs made me do it. Huh. And I need to go listen, hopefully find that song and listen to the lyrics behind it. But how disrespectful and sickening that was to the family of Tynisha Ysais. It's crazy work. But thank you again, you guys. Don't forget to follow Pretty Trucker One on Twitch, okay? Shout out to y'all. Follow her YouTube page as well, Beezy. Don't forget to get my information from China so we can connect, and I'll let you know when the sister hits me back and stuff like that, because I would love to have you here for that and stuff too. The industry is a scary place. It is. I don't think nobody know how serious it is. Money sounds good, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you know, I'm about to really start making the bread and stuff versus what comes with it. It comes with a price. From what we've always heard, it comes with a price. Prayers to her family, you guys. Prayers to her children. And the truth always comes to the light. And I want to dig into this management and see about this other rapper as well that they did. Salute everybody. Go enjoy the rest of y'all Monday. See you guys back later.
Miss Parker, the YouTube star, lighting up the screen, you know who you are, bringing news you can use and a laugh or two. She's got the facts, the fun, and the realest view, with a voice so smooth and a smile so bright. She's shining like a beacon in the darkest night. Deep dives on the stories that really matter. She's breaking it down, cutting through the chatter. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home. She's got a little something for everyone, with a heart so big and an attitude strong. Miss Parker's where you know you belong. She's an advocate, a friend, a voice for the unheard, asking all the questions, never missing a word. Or a second to none. She's blazing like the sun. Miss Parker, the only one. She's got the news to amuse and the truth to reveal. Digging for the answers, keeping it real. For those who need a champion, she's standing tall. Fighting for justice, she's giving her all. With every upload, she's making a change. Bringing people together, no matter the range. So hit that subscribe, don't miss a beat. Miss Parker's got the content that can't be beat. Questions we all have, she's not afraid to ask. Uncovering the story, she's up to the task. With a laugh, a wink, and a spirit so true. Miss Parker's got the magic and she's sharing it with you. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home. She's got a little something for everyone, with a heart so big and an attitude strong. Miss Parker's where you know you belong. She's an advocate, a friend, a voice for the unheard, asking all the questions, never missing a word. Or a second to So here's to Miss Parker, the star of the show, bringing light to